Hi, my name is Megan Langley. I'm the founder and executive director of 𝗕𝗜𝗚. At 𝗕𝗜𝗚, we are all in for rural communities, and we have been doing our best since 2015 to know and understand the needs of rural North Dakota. And it's after all of those conversations, a decade's worth of work and experience out in rural communities, that we worked not only with legislators, but also rural community leaders to craft Senate Bill 2097. Now, what is Senate Bill 2097, you might ask? Well, the original language is that it would create a $50 million rural community endowment fund. It would also allocate an additional $5 million so that the fund could begin giving out grants immediately. And those grants are flexible, no matching requirements. It could be for housing, daycare, workforce recruitment and retention, economic development, or any other quality of life issue that a community might be facing. Now, it's broad because, as you know, with an endowment fund, it's a permanent fund, meaning that we're trying to anticipate not only needs of today, but needs 100 years from now or 200 years from now. The Rural Community Endowment Fund, SB 2097, would also designate the grants to go out to communities to be for communities of population 1,000 or less. That's where we see a big capacity gap or a big capacity cliff, where we don't have typically paid chamber directors, paid EDC directors, or even a full-time auditor that can be out looking for and applying for additional dollars to support their community. It's not because we don't recognize that all communities here in North Dakota are under-resourced. And it's not that we don't recognize that rural comes in various shapes and sizes. We know that communities that are 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 have significant needs. But what we also know is that we can make a meaningful difference in communities of 1,000 or less if they have a dedicated funding stream that is governed by rural community leaders, that is administered by a nonprofit that is specifically engaged with and experienced with granting dollars out in rural communities, and that it's a long-term fund that communities can take advantage of year after year after year. SB 2097 made its way all the way through the Senate chamber. We did get cut down to just a $5 million community endowment fund. But as we move to the House, we are really going to be looking at needing your support. Over 100 rural communities have signed on to support SB 2097. And it would really be helpful to us if all communities, all 307 of those communities with populations of 1,000 or less, signed on and were willing to show their support for this dedicated long-term funding stream specifically for rural communities. So we might be asking you here in the next couple of months for your support as we move throughout the House, and finally for your support as we try to make it to the end of the finish line here in North Dakota to establish the Rural Community Endowment Fund. If you have any questions about SB 2097, the components of the legislation, how it's changed, or how it might impact your community, you can reach out to me at any time. My email address is megan@strengthennd.com. We're always looking for more rural community champions, and we're always seeking as an organization to be here to support you rural community members.